Okay, this week I am making sweet potatoes. And so most of us know how to make sweet potatoes, right? But I'm going to do some special little things. I'm going to make some sweet potato fries. I'm going to bake a sweet potato, and then I'm going to mash sweet potatoes to make stuffed poblanos. Have you ever had sweet potato stuffed poblanos? I have not, but I thought this would be something great to try. So first, the baked sweet potato is going to take the longest, and so I'm going to just poke it with a fork all over. And then I'm just going to set it in the oven at 375, and in about 45 minutes I'm going to check it to make sure that it's soft all the way through. Now this one's nice and thin. If yours is fat, it may take closer to an hour, and you'll want to make sure that your fork can go gently in all the way through. You don't want to have to force it. You want it to be nice and soft all the way through. So I'm just going to stick this in the oven. Now, sweet potatoes do release some sugars, and so they can drip onto the bottom of your stove. So you may want to put a pan underneath or something, foil underneath or something, just to catch those drips. All right, so now I'm going to make the sweet potato fries. So you can eat the whole thing. You can see that pointy end. It's not gonna feel good in my teeth, so I'm just gonna cut that off. And these are nice and organic, and whenever they're organic, I like to eat the peel. Remember, these plants, especially when they're organic, if they're not organic, it's a different story. They have to defend themselves against predators, insects, viruses, and bacteria, same things like we do. And so we want to be able to eat the nutrients that they have to defend themselves. We want to also eat those to defend ourselves as well. So when they are organic, just wash it well and it should be fine to eat. If it is not organic, you may want to peel it. You want to buy organic whenever you can. So the next thing I'm going to do, now fries are usually maybe 3 inches long. So I'm gonna cut in about, this one I might cut in half. I'm gonna cut it in thirds. Some of my fries may be a little short. This is not, I'm on location. We had something come up and I had to travel. And so these are not my normal utensils. And I like to stand it up and then cut it into strips. I'm gonna lay it down actually without my utensils. I'm gonna cut it about 1/4 to 1/2 inch thick. And then I'm going to lay them down. See, I'm not doing it, it's not very even. This countertop's a little too tall for me, and this knife is so bulky. But then I'm gonna cut it into strips so that they are about the size of French fries. Those are a little short. All right, so I'm gonna just keep doing that. Okay, so this is a really, really dull knife. You don't ever want a dull knife. If I was at home, I would sharpen it, or I would just throw this one out and get another one. A dull knife is a dangerous knife because it can slide easily. You can cut yourself very easily that way. And look, I can't even cut even slices. And I want even slices because I want all of the potatoes to be done at the same time. So I'm doing my best with what I have on hand, right? Now, another thing is, I'm using a air fry pan. I've never even seen one. This is super cool. It just happened to be here in the Airbnb. And it's got these holes in it so that I can roast the sweet potato without any oil or parchment paper or anything. At home, I would use parchment paper so that I wouldn't have to put any oils on it because I don't like heated oils. All right, so let me see if I can get these kind of even. I'm making a mess with this terrible knife. All right, I want that flat side to keep it from rolling. And why do I use sweet potatoes? They are so good for you. They're very, very high in beta carotene, this beautiful orange color, as the precursor to vitamin A. And we need vitamin A for our entire mucosal system. What is that? That is mucus, our nose, our mouth, but the whole lining from the mouth through the esophagus, through your intestines. We need a nice lining to move things along. You know, we hear things like, we don't want to have mucus, we need to get rid of mucus. Well, if we got rid of all of it, we'd be really dry inside and it'd be really easy to irritate your whole gut lining. That would not be good. So we need mucus. We just don't want too much. We know we don't want to have runny noses and things like that. You've heard of leaky gut, probably. Most of us have. And so vitamin A is something that is needed to prevent that, and most of us don't get enough vitamin A. Some of us even have a genetic tendency to not create vitamin A, which is done inside the intestines. I don't ever recommend taking vitamin A without a doctor's notice, doctor's supervision, because it is a fat-soluble vitamin, which means that it can build up in your cells. And so you don't want to take it, get it from your foods. And so eating these red and orange foods, especially things like sweet potatoes, cooked, they're better absorbed. That is a good idea. So I'm going to use this pan. Hopefully it is in the camera. I'm going to put our sweet potato fries on here. And I'm also going to put them in the same oven as my sweet potato that's baking. And I'm going to put them in there for about 25 minutes. That should be enough. Now you can see how I'm tossing it on here. That's just to get it on here to get everything out of my way. And then I'm going to spread them out evenly so they all get roasted. Now, I've never used this pan, so it may take a little bit, may not even take 25 minutes. We'll see. Here we go. Lay them all out. Try to cut yours a little more evenly than I did. Hopefully you have a better knife. And then let me tell you what I'm going to do while these are roasting. I'm going to be making the stuffed poblanos with the mashed sweet potatoes. So when the potatoes are finished, you'll see the sweet potato fries. Does that go with my dinner? Not necessarily, but I'm going to skin the sweet potato. You'll see it'll peel very easily if it's cooked correctly. And then I'm going to mash it all up, and I'm going to stuff these poblanos. So in order to stuff them, I need to soften them first because I don't want to have to bake them again. So I'm just going to put them in the oven just like this whole for 15 minutes or while the sweet potato fries are cooking. And then I will take them out and cut them in half, take the seeds out, and then we'll stuff them with the sweet potatoes. I'm going to be serving them with black beans. Whenever you buy black beans, make sure that you buy organic. If they're not organic, they have definitely been sprayed. Remember, companies or farmers, they don't want to harvest them unless they're dried completely because it will gum up the material. So you want to make sure you always buy beans organic. I'm going to serve it with black beans, but also with greens. So this is broccoli rabe. I should probably do another video on how to prepare this. This is my broccoli rabe. It's a cruciferous vegetable. It's very high in foliage, which is vitamin B9. We usually hear folic acid, especially when we're talking about people who are trying to get pregnant or who are already pregnant, prenatal vitamins. We're looking for folic acid. It's much better to get it in our foliage. Anyway, while these are roasting, I'm gonna wash these all up and then I'll be back with you. Okay, so the sweet potatoes cooked in about 20 minutes. You can see there's less on here because it's hard not to eat them while you're waiting for the potato. I roasted or sauteed my broccoli rabe or rapini. That will be on next week's video. I'll show you how I did that. And I took out the sweet potatoes. So how do you test to see if it's finished? How easily does the fork go in? And you can see it's nice. It goes all the way through very easily. I don't even have to force it, so I know it's cooked all the way through. I'm going to mash this. I could just slice it open and eat it as a roasted potato, which would be fabulous, but I'm gonna stuff the poblano. So I'm gonna let it cool for a minute so that I can peel it. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to slice the poblano. I already started slicing it. I'm just trying to cut it in half lengthwise so that I can open it up. And I'm gonna cut around the stem so I can get those seeds out. I'm using another bad knife, unfortunately, as I cut around. So I cooked the poblano for about 15 minutes while the sweet potato fries were cooking. You saw me do that. And now I'm just going to pull those seeds out. And you can see the inside. So I have a couple of seeds to get out. It's okay to have the seeds in there. They are edible, but I don't want them in my mashed potatoes. So poblanos are a little spicier than a green bell pepper. They are kind of delicious. They make me think of Southwest, which is why we're having them with the black beans and the sweet potatoes. So let me do another one. Open that with the sharp knife, this won't take so long. Pull it right out. And it is ready to fill with my sweet potato filling. Alright, so a little spicy. Some of the oils splashed up on me. When you do eat a spicy pepper, this is not as spicy as a jalapeno, but it can be a little bit spicy. And when it does spice your tongue, as my kids would say, water is not going to help. Water is going to spread that spicy oil around in your mouth, and then you want to find something that has some fat in it to help attach to it to carry it out. So I'm going to, what do I need to do? I'm going to put these back in the oven after I stuff them. So I'm going to free up this little pan, which we decided we need because this was really awesome. Look how easily it slides right off the pan. It didn't get all gummy from the sugars from the sweet potato. Well, one stuck. That one stuck a little bit too, but other than that, they look great. They browned on the other side. They are perfect. I'm going to use this same pan to lay, I'm going to lay my poblanos on there. And then I'm going to fill them with the sweet potato after I mash it. So switching sides here. I'm going to slice open my sweet potato. And depending on what type of sweet potato you have, this one might be too hot to handle. We'll see how it goes because I just took it out of the oven. But you can see how easy it is to peel that skin off. Now I like to eat the peels, and so sometimes I will leave it mashed in here. I have somebody here with me that doesn't like the peel of potatoes, so I will take the potatoes off. But you could totally mash them in with the potato. I'll actually, off camera, I will probably eat these skins because I love them. Alright, I can peel it right off. If I had baked it a little bit longer, they might slide off a little bit easier, but you can see it just rolls. But I'm losing a lot of nutrition by not eating the skin. So remember, if it is organic, it's perfectly safe to eat those skins. But I know a lot of us like our potatoes to be nice and creamy and not have the skins in there. So I'm just going to, I don't have a potato masher here at this Airbnb, and so I'm just going to use my knife to chop it as small as I can first. I love these square bowls, so I'm kind of inspired to get some of those too. I want it to be a little creamy, so I'm going to add some non-dairy milk. I have some almond milk that I bought at the store. So I just want a couple of tablespoons of the almond milk, and I'm going to add some salt. Now you can see this is white salt. At home I would have some sea salt or some Himalayan pink salt, or even my sea salt with dulse. That would be great. So just a little bit of salt, and then I'm going to mash it till it's nice and creamy. And if I had some cumin and smoked paprika, that would be a fabulous addition to these sweet potatoes. So if you can get those, add a little bit of smoked paprika, maybe a little chipotle powder. That would be delicious. All right, so you can see it's nice and mashed. You want it to get as creamy as you can. You may need to add some more non-dairy milk. You can see I didn't have to add any butter. Some people like cinnamon, and cinnamon can go with the Southwest food as well. I don't like cinnamon in my, I love cinnamon, but just not in my sweet potatoes. I know a lot of people do. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just divide it up and put half in this poblano and half in this other poblano. And I just realized I turned the oven off. I gotta turn the oven back on. I'm gonna put it on broil. I'm gonna put these under the broil for just a couple of minutes. And because starches, they can produce a carcinogen if they're cooked at a high heat for too long. So I just want to put them on a minute. The poblano is already soft because I pre-cooked it for 15 minutes. But I'm just going to heat this back up together, and I like it under broil just to get a little bit of that brown color. If you want to be safer, then you can just warm it back up or just eat it just how it is. So I'm going to fold it over, make it almost like a sandwich. There's a sneaky ingredient in there. Fold it over, it's nice, look at that, nice and fat. And I'm kind of protecting it from the heat when I broil it. It's gonna kind of char that poblano and kind of seal it together. I need to kind of roll that maybe. There we go, stick it back in. Okay, back in the oven for just a couple minutes. I'll smell it, so probably 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, here are our stuffed poblanos. You can see the sweet potatoes sticking out. They're a little wrinkly, a little bit of dark on top. Set that down, that's a hot pan. I have my plate ready with my sauteed broccoli rabe, video next week, and my black beans. So let me just gently lift these onto the plate. There's one. There's 2. If I can turn it, maybe you can see that beautiful orange color peeking through. We want to be able to see that when we serve it, right? So they see it's no secret. It's delicious. Anyway, if you make sweet potato fries or mashed sweet potatoes, a mashed stuffed poblano, I don't know what to call that, sweet potato stuffed poblano. Anyway, however you make your sweet potatoes, please let me know. Comment, like, and share my videos with your friends. Subscribe to my channel. Eat these sweet potatoes for that wonderful fiber and vitamin A, the beta carotene, right? And comment. You know I love to hear from you. Let me know you're there, and enjoy.